Tonight on the Rambler Sports Locker, the city is bustling as the Cubs won their first World Series since 1908 over the Cleveland Indians. You can see that we're still celebrating. We're wearing our jerseys. Certainly great to be a Cubs fan.
As far as Loyola sports go, this week the men's soccer team was in action against SIUE. Also, RSL reporter Jazmin Marcos has her top 5 Loyola soccer players. And RSL spoke with students on campus to talk more about the new Rambler X app. Stay tuned.
Welcome back, Rambler fans, to another edition of the Rambler Sports Locker. I'm Nick Schultz.
And I'm Hayley Spitler. The talk of the city right now is the Chicago Cubs. Game 7 of the World Series was Wednesday evening, and it certainly will be a game to remember. There were home runs from Dexter Fowler, Javi Baez, and David Ross for a Cubs lead.
The Cleveland Indians tied up the game, showing they wouldn't lose without a fight. In the end, the Cubs won 8-7 in extra innings and have now ended the longest drought in professional sports history. Stay tuned for the Ramble later on in the show when Dylan Conover and his Ramble analysts will discuss Cubs bandwagon fans.
For Loyola sports this week, the men's soccer team headed to SIUE and took on the Cougars in the Ramblers' final away game of the regular season. The Ramblers struggled to create much throughout the game besides a few chances from dead ball situations and set-piece opportunities. However, Loyola could not take their chances when they did come, and the Cougars made them pay with a 57th minute goal from Cougar striker Devin Jamga. Jamga received a through ball to put him one-on-one with the keeper, and he took his chance, giving SIUE the eventual game winner. This is only the team's second loss on the season, and they will look to bounce back against Bradley this Saturday in what will be the regular season finale.
The women's soccer team clashed against Drake in a crucial matchup for the Ramblers. All the team needed was a draw or win to reach the MVC tournament. Drake got off to a quick start, scoring 2 goals in the span of 5 minutes. Junior Avalon Saint-Raymond would find the back of the net for Loyola, pulling the score back to 2-1 on 53 minutes. However, Drake would later find a third goal to kill the game off. With the loss, the Ramblers were in danger of missing out on postseason play, but due to other results around the league, they were able to sneak into the Missouri Valley Conference Women's Soccer Tournament. The team then played in the MVC quarterfinals against Northern Iowa. Saint-Raymond scored the lone goal for the Ramblers as they came out on top 1-0 over the Panthers. They will play again in the semifinals against Evansville on November 4th. The game will be broadcast on ESPN3. Junior forward and midfielder Avalon Saint-Raymond was honored by the MVC this week, being named Offensive Player of the Week. This is Saint-Raymond's first weekly honor of her career. She also holds 3 goals to her name, putting her in a 4-way tie for a lead in that category.
Now, both the men's and women's soccer teams are in the MVC tournament, but there are those certain players who have contributed a lot to the team's success this season.
RSL reporter Jazmin Marcos is here to discuss her top 5 Loyola soccer players.
As the men's and women's soccer season comes to an end, for this week's Top 5 segment, I picked the top 5 Loyola soccer athletes of the season. These athletes have done an outstanding job on the field and have played key roles for their teams this season. At number 5 is senior Shelby Koch on defense. This is Koch's 4th season with the Ramblers, and she has played in all 18 games of the season. Koch was also named Missouri Valley Conference Defensive Player of the Week in October. At number 4 is junior midfielder Brody Crosso. His contribution helped the men's soccer team rank in the top standings of the MVC and earning a spot among the top 20 national teams. Crosso dished out 9 assists this season, leading in the category in the Valley and tied for 4th in Division I men's soccer. At number 3 is junior forward Katie Grahl. This is Grahl's 3rd season with the Ramblers, and she has played in all 18 games this season. She has 3 goals and 6 assists for the season, including last Sunday's game against Northern Iowa, where Grahl passed the ball to Avalon Saint-Raymond for the only point of the game, giving the Ramblers the victory. Moving on to number 2, we have Andrew Chekadanov. Last week against SIUE, just after the quarter-hour mark, the junior goalkeeper managed an incredible save from 8 yards away, leaving the first half of the game tied 0-0. Chekadanov has a total of 10 shutouts this season, with only conceding 2 goals so far and contributing 18 saves. His impressive mark of .53 goals against average ranks first in the Valley and 7th in NCAA Division I. And finally, coming in at number 1 is Kirill Likovid. The senior started in all 14 games this season, serving as a vital player in the backline. He helped lead Loyola's defense to a .49 goals against average, ranking 5th nationally. He also has 5 assists this season, placing him in a tie for 4th place overall in the Valley. Likovid was also just recently honored as an academic all-district selection by the College Sports Information Directors of America and will advance to the national ballot. That's it for this week's Top 5. I'm Jazmin Marcos. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Jazmin. With strong players on the soccer team, it can be said that there's strong teamwork on the new women's basketball team. The Ramblers played their first exhibition match against UW Whitewater on November 1st. After hot shooting just under 46% from the field, the Ramblers won the game 70-57. Loyola was successful in rebounds and shooting. 4 Ramblers scored double digits during the game. Caitlin Williams led the Ramblers, scoring 12 points. Lauren Seegers, Brandy Seegers, and Katie Salmon also posted double-digit scores. The team showed how they can work together for a win, overcoming a deficit headed into the second half.
The men's volleyball program, along with the athletic department, will sponsor a Movember team for the 5th consecutive year.
Since 2012, Loyola has raised over $15,000 in awareness for men's health issues. Members of the volleyball team and the Loyola Athletics Department will grow mustaches in November to support the cause and to raise funds.
Women's volleyball won both of their matches against Southern Illinois and Evansville this past week. At Southern Illinois, sophomore Gabby Majikowski led the way, tying her career high with 22 kills as the Ramblers toppled the Salukis 3-1. At Evansville, Reardon led the way with 20 kills as Loyola defeated the Aces 3-2. The team will be in action for their final 2 home games on November 5th against Wichita State and November 6th against Missouri State.
Both the men and women's cross-country teams participated in the Missouri Valley Conference Championships last Friday, October 30th in Cedar Falls, Iowa. The men's team edged out host Northern Iowa to claim 5th place, and the women's team claimed 6th overall. Redshirt junior Alex Baker and junior Emma Hatch earned all MVC accolades. Baker ran an impressive time of 25 minutes and 8.2 seconds to claim 9th overall for the 8K race. As a result, Baker was recognized as a first-team All-Missouri Valley Conference selection. Hatch led Loyola's women for a 4th consecutive event. She recorded a time of 18 minutes and 17 seconds in the women's 5K race to finish in 13th place. Because of her finish, Hatch was given an honorable mention All-Missouri Valley Conference selection. Both Hatch and Baker were named to the Missouri Valley Conference cross-country scholar athlete teams on Tuesday. This comes as the first scholar athlete honors for both in their careers. We spoke to Baker about how he felt receiving honors after having a tough summer of running mileage.
Yeah, that was my first all-conference achievement that I've had in my career. So it was a special moment. During the award ceremony, everyone was like called up, like the top 10. So I was up there, like holding my plaque and smiling. So it was a great moment.
Both teams look to improve at the NCAA Midwest Regional on November 11th in Iowa City, Iowa.
Everyone knows and loves our very own school mascot, Lou Wolf. Loyola released a video this past week to help our favorite mascot get a new fur coat. The video you see shows how Lou Wolf has been there for us, cheering us on and even helping around campus. Now that Lou Wolf is in need of a new suit, Loyola is looking for donations to help pay for Lou's new suit. You can find the video on Loyola's YouTube page. The goal is to raise $3,500 by November 30th, just in time for the Loyola basketball season. The total is currently just over $2,200. Donations can be made online at luc.edu/Lou Wolf.
The Rambler X app is new this year with fan engagement strategies and game day information. RSL reporter Mike Nish has more.
Thanks, Hayley. Very few things keep me up at night, and Loyola's fan engagement is certainly one of them. So we're here in Damon Student Center to see just how engaged fans are with the new Rambler X app. What's your initial reaction about Loyola athletics?
I like the athletics a lot. I just don't think we're that well overall.
I'm not really into it, but like from what I've heard, like they have a really good volleyball team.
It's a great organization. I think like we do a good job here of like promoting like games, like whether it be for basketball or volleyball, and I just think we're pretty good. I mean, like for our school, like I make it out to all the games, so like I have a good time.
Kind of unheard of, you know?
Unheard of, okay. Speaking of unheard of, did you know that Loyola has a new Rambler X app for athletics?
I had no idea.
No, I have not.
I did not know that.
No, I didn't know that.
I know it's on the like Loyola website itself, but not a lot of people like go into depth to like actually see the games now. So I think an application or maybe even just promoting it a lot more will make it more like so you can plan ahead and actually go to the game.
Would that be something that you would consider downloading to help you keep up with your favorite team?
You know, yeah, I think it would. Yeah, I mean, like that makes it a lot more easier than me, like, you know, trying to search up when the next games are, who's playing who and stuff like that. Yeah, I'd definitely use it.
Yeah, it'd just be an easy platform for me to look at all the teams that are going on and like what the scores are or whatever, and it just puts everything in one place.
Do you have a favorite team here?
I'd go ahead and say the golf team because one of my best friends is on it.
Right, so you'd want to keep up with the golf highlights on here?
Yeah, I would, and I can't do that really anywhere else. So.
Right, exactly. And would you have any suggestions for the athletic department, you know, if they're trying to increase their fan engagement?
Yeah, I think this app for sure would help, and then maybe like doing some free giveaways at games.
So maybe like changing games up, maybe letting us know ahead of time too, because like I usually find out like really last minute and I'm just like I can't go. So maybe like the app will help too, if anything.
I would say like advertise it more.
Incentivize it for students, you know, maybe like a shirt or here or two, or just some like ramp. I don't know, some to get students in, like free stuff always good.
So free stuff. That's what we're looking for. Free stuff.
Thanks, Mike. I like free stuff too.
Dylan Conover and his Ramble analysts discuss the Cubs bandwagon fans in this week's Ramble.
Hi, welcome to this week's Ramble. I'm Dylan Conover, and I'm joined here with Mike Niche and Henry Redmond. And guys, as you can see, I'm wearing a Cubs shirt, and it's not because I'm a fan, it's because I lost a bet. You know I'm a White Sox fan, but wearing this brings to light a question I have for you guys, and that's, are bandwagon fans a good thing for sports in general? Mike, we'll start with you.
Well, I think that you need to start with sports are supposed to be fun. They're entertainment. So what's better than entertaining people and bringing more people into the fun, right?
Henry, what do you think?
I'm going to disagree with that. You don't get to appreciate a win if you don't know what losing is like, if you're only around in the playoffs when the team wins the championship.
Henry, then, I mean, do teams need to be bad for a fan to be like validated as a fan?
I don't think that's necessarily true. I just think you have to stick around no matter what happens. You can't just drop the team at the first sign of like a decline.
I would agree, but that's not really what we're talking about. We're talking about a team who's just won. So maybe you're not dropping a team, maybe you're just getting into a sport. So maybe somebody comes to Chicago and they've only been here for 2 years and they're like, hey, I like baseball, the Cubs are pretty good, let me jump on this bandwagon.
But don't you think that kind of takes away some of the moment from maybe the fans who've been there?
From the fans who have been waiting a long time, I totally get that. That makes a lot of sense. But at the same time, don't you just want to have fun? Isn't that what it's all about at the end of the day?
So would you be frustrated and would you think it's not very fair if when the Cubs have their parade, if you've been a Cubs fan your entire life, you can't get a good view because there's a bunch of people who have no idea anything about the Cubs, but they just want to be with the hype?
I would just say that you're being really sore loser about everything. You should enjoy the moment. I grew up a Yankees fan, so I came out here to Chicago and I saw the Cubs win a great championship, and it really made baseball fun for me again. I really enjoyed watching this all happen, and I'm not going to say that I'm giving up my allegiance to the Yankees, but that doesn't mean I can't root for the Cubs and say, hey, that was one of the coolest things of all time.
Henry, closing remarks?
Two of the biggest bandwagon teams in the history of bandwagon teams.
Okay. Now, not sure if that's accurate. The Yankees have been doing well for a really long time, 27 championships, sir.
I know the number. That's why they have so many fans.
Unfortunately, guys, I think I'm going to have to agree with Mike. I think sometimes success is what creates fans. Chicago, the Blackhawks were nothing. They were like the fourth team, the fifth team in a big city, and then they win a championship, and now people notice them. I think success can bring fans into the game. So for that reason, I'm going to have to go with Mike on this one.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
I'm sorry you lost twice, the Indians and you, but that's all for this week's Ramble. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Dylan. Nick and I definitely are not bandwagon fans.
For our full episodes and the chance to get in on the conversation, follow and like our social media handles for an up-to-date look at all things Rambler Sports.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Hayley Spitler.
And I'm Nick Schultz. Check back here next week for another episode of Rambler Sports Locker.
And as always, don't forget to turn out the lights.